Hi friends, I'm Salil Desai and this is my latest book, Murder Milestone. It's the fourth novel in my popular series, Inspector Saralkar Murder Mysteries. As usual, I had great fun while writing it. But I also learned a few lessons which I'd like to share with you. Lesson number one. The idea of Murder Milestone came to me in a flash. I was so inspired that all I wanted to do was to put it down on paper. And that's what I did. Result? 10,000 words later, I came to a grinding halt. Because I had not thought through the idea. I had not let it marinate in my brain. As a result, I had to return to the drawing board, work on the plot complications, the characters, the subplots, the red herrings, little details, and then return to writing. The lesson I learned: even the best of ideas need time. Don't rush them. Let them soak in your brain. And then you'll be able to fine tune it and come up with something really good. Lesson number two. When a writer starts becoming successful, when his books start doing well, he doesn't want failure. He wants to repeat his success with his next book. And so, many writers start repeating their bag of tricks, tropes, formulas, things which have worked for them in their previous books. Fortunately for me, I was very conscious of this tendency. And so, I kept on telling myself that I will not repeat myself. All my previous three Saralkar books had done very well. In fact, 3.5 Murders was a bestseller. But I decided that Murder Milestone is a challenge. That I have to come up with something ingenious, something original, and I should avoid all temptation of repeating all the things that had worked for me earlier. And you can see this happening in Murder Milestone. Lesson number three. It's not just about what you write. It's also about your approach to writing. Now, generally my approach to writing has been to write regularly for about 4-5 days a week, 2-3 hours every day, about 500-600 words. Here in Pune. This time I decided, why not change my routine? Why not try something different, a different approach? And so I decided to experiment with binge writing. What I did was, I would go off for about 8 to 10 days to places like Mussoorie, Goa, Darjeeling, and almost lock myself up and start writing. And I kept on writing through the day. And this kind of binge writing brought about a complete difference in some of the style that I had adopted. There was a lot of spontaneity and there was a lot of intensity. And both these things have made Murder Milestone a little different from what I've written earlier. Lesson number 4. I did a lot of research on serial killers because Murder Milestone is about serial killers. But what happens with a lot of researchers that you do not know how much of it can go into your writing. So what I did was to internalize much of that research, and almost like a kind of osmosis, it found its way into my writing. The serial killers in Murder Milestone are not depicted like normal serial killers. There's a lot of nuance, and that is what makes Murder Milestone different. Lesson number 5. Your own protagonists. You generally love them. In my case, Senior Inspector Saralkar and PSI Motkar. But beware, writers. Familiarity also breeds contempt and predictability. And this is something that you cannot afford. In Murder Milestone, I have tried to make my characters grow in a different way. And that has worked. And which is another valuable lesson I learned during Murder Milestone. So guys, please read the book Murder Milestone if you love whodunits and whodunits, and do write to me and tell me how you liked it. Thank you so much. Read Murder Milestone.